This is Infection, the survival podcast recorded live on Tuesday, May 5th, 2020, episode 277. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is, as always, Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. If you want to get some tips and tricks about IT things, you can check out my website. It is dudeinit.com. That's dudeinit.com. Joining me as he does, rolling back into the frame each and every week, Brian with a beard. Look at this. Brian with the beard Aldrich. Yes. What's going on here? Are we fundraising?
I plan on shaving it tonight. No.
Are we pouring you out for something?
No fundraisers this time. I haven't shaved, and it's gotten to the point where it's like itchiness. You know how
Brian,
the hairs start to curl back on themselves.
Now, Brian, can I make a political statement?
Okay, sure.
You're looking good.
Thanks.
I like that look.
That's definitely you're up with the times. I mean, we're right on the news.
Yeah, I mean, I'd date you. Just saying.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm just saying.
Well, I will. I like to grow it up about this long and then shave it. Anything past this is just it's actually approaching like a real beard.
You're looking good, Brian. Let me tell you.
Thank you very much. Hey, I'm looking forward to PAX. Here we go.
Jesus. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, everything's going okay here. If you want to find me, you can find me at Boise Computer on Twitter. If you want to check out my blog, biteoftech.com. And of course, make sure you go to our website, infectionpodcast.com. And you notice on the right-hand side there, we have a button that says join our server on Discord. And if you do that, you can submit news throughout the week. If there's anything that you want to share with people, there's plenty of areas to do that on there. We have a workout channel. We have just a lot of different things going on. Whenever we play games, people are in the different channels playing those. So that's a free service. They have a mobile app, desktop app, and a web-based app. We also have our Steam group if you want to get a notification before the live show starts. I did do it today, but I didn't see it pop up, so hopefully that went through. But you should get a notification right before the live show starts, and that will give you a heads up so you can come join us live, participate in the game giveaway, participate in the chat. We also have our YouTube, our Mixer, and our Twitch links on there if you want to watch the live version during the show, or if you want to watch the video after the fact. I would generally recommend, though, you go to the YouTube video if you're going to be watching the post-show, after the show's been recorded and posted already. Go onto YouTube, and we'll have on there all the videos for that. And now on our website, we have our links. So if you want to follow along, you can follow along all the different links, videos, articles, everything that we reference throughout the show. We have all of those available for each episode on the website, and that makes it easy if you want to see what we're seeing while you follow along. So I think if you want to support us, actually, there's one more thing. humble.infectionpodcast.com, amazon.infectionpodcast.com, and of course, Twitch Prime subs. I think that's it. Yeah,
Brian, I made a couple adjustments to the website today, and I've actually added a new platform for our show. I uploaded the show to BitChute, which I guess is like a YouTube alternative. I'm not sure really if anybody uses it, but Infection Podcast is now on BitChute, just in case something happens to the. I don't know, YouTube is like nowadays Google just like deletes accounts and says so sorry, so sad, too bad. So I kind of wanted to get ahead of that a little bit. Not that I'm intending on us getting banned from anything, but you never know. So that's where we're on BitChute, and also on the sidebar of the website, Brian, is the Infection Podcast Extras channel, which is run by our friend Judd. And you can see the post shows for each and every episode here on the website, so you can check that out. Both those links for our regular YouTube channel, which has got our shows, our BitChute, which has our shows, and then Judd's Infection Podcast Extras channel, which has our pre and post show each and every week. So that that's what we got going on there. I do want to thank a couple of individuals, including our friend Izzy Trippin, who just hit us up with the resubscription here on Twitch, as well as our friend Judd, who hit us up with the resub here right when we started the pre-show. And I think those are the only two individuals between last week's show. So we want to thank them and everybody else's continued support of Bingo Boom Shakalaka. And there we go. Big Woody Sauce says, oh, I can't even imagine. I don't even want to read this. Take my money and buy a razor, Nick. Dollar Shave Club could even sponsor. You know, I thought this was a decent look. It's not. I don't have a neck beard going on. It's trimmed back.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I mean, it kind of looks like a neck beard a little bit.
I mean, a neck beard would be like down here. No?
Well, it's just anything. It's like anything below your chin. I think
the problem is nothing comes in.
Yours isn't a full neck beard because the full neck beard goes like
correct
here. Yours is more like a chin strap.
This only comes in patchy. It doesn't grow in, so it doesn't work. I mean, what do you want me to do? I don't have a choice.
We need to get a sponsor. Andrew, maybe he could hook us up with somebody. For
I'm not taking Propecia or finasteride or some of these. I'm not taking a hair loss drug. I've got plenty of hair. I'm good. I'm not using 4 Hims either. Believe me, I'm good. I'm good. All right. Look at my head. Look at my hair. I've got a luscious head of hair.
Just give it 10 years. We'll see what happens.
I'll tell you what, my grandparents, my grandfathers, both of my grandfathers on both sides, rock solid. Still, except for one who has got cancer now, so he's lost all of his hair. But prior to that, full beautiful head of hair in his 70s. My other grandfather, same thing in his 60s, full head of hair. A high testosterone Nick. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Now, the thing that frustrates me for people that watch, like, the side that would be the baldest is the side that we always now face to the camera.
You're getting old, like I'm balding. Dude. I tell you what, dude, you're starting to thin out a little bit, Brian.
I look here, but if I was facing this like we used to, you don't notice as much.
Yeah, I see you're thinning, dude. I'm seeing you're getting a recessed hairline.
I know. Thank you.
How does that make you feel?
This makes me feel old, but I guess at 40, some things start to fall apart.
Yeah, well. I tell you what, that's probably the better thing.
I know that's what I need to do is mirror the cam and then just switch to the other side.
We had the other side, and everybody bitched at me for 2.5 years.
I just need to mirror. I need to flip my camera so that, and then people will say, "Why are the guitars on the other side?" That's all we'll hear.
Yeah. All right, enough of the tomfoolery. I'll tell you what. Unless you're gonna date me, I don't want to hear your feedback about my hair. All right. Now, Brian, would you agree on that sentiment? Like, unless you're going to be in a relationship with me, and maybe Big Woody Sauce, hey, times are tough. Whatever has to happen. The point is, unless you're dating me,
taking applications, by the way.
Nick at infectionpodcast.com. I'm just saying, if you're going to sit here and criticize me, you got to be at least in a situation where the criticization, there's a benefit to listening to the heckling. So, Miles Park says your hair is a 9 out of 10. Well, I'll tell you what, I can handle a 9 out of 10. Believe me. So,
that sounds like winning. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, it's absolutely winning. All right, enough of this. We're not. We're already late. We're off the deep end at the. None of it even matters.
And thank you, do we get Godimus's resub as well?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I missed Godimus's. I do apologize. Godimus, hit us up with the resub here on Twitch. Godimus, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay. We've got a kind of a odd selection of news this week. Yeah, all over the place.
Mishmash of everything.
What I want to start off with a story about Blizzard here, Brian. There's a couple different things with Blizzard. One thing I noted, I saw this actually came out today. They released their quarterly earnings, and they destroyed their estimates. So their earnings originally, their earnings estimate called for 38 cents per share. The adjusted earnings that came out today called for 76 cents a share. So I mean, they blew they blew the estimates out of the water. And their stock is their ticker's ATVI, which is Activision Blizzard, had a new 52-week high, so a year high towards the end of the day, and when this news came out. So, Brian, I don't think we still don't have the full effect yet, but I think it might be safe to say that you and I were probably pretty off on these gaming companies are going to suffer. Now, obviously, as Big Woody Sauce points out, Warzone is incredibly popular right now. This has by far been the farthest a Call of Duty has gone into. I have not played a Call of Duty this far into its life cycle since I was probably in high school or maybe even middle school, which, contrary to people's belief, was actually a little bit ago.
And also in that time frame, they released the WoW Classic, which pretty much doubled their subscription base. And I think a lot of people that had quit subscribing, I don't know that people are playing WoW Classic so much. I think that people got back into WoW and realized, I don't really like the old WoW. I kind of like the easiness of the new one. And I think they've also got people going back to the regular one that had stopped. So, yeah, very good for them. Now, there was an article that they'd put out, and this is actually the co-founder who had written about the waning popularity of MMOs. And there were some things I found kind of interesting about this, is him talking about how the way that WoW works now has actually made the people talking in game and actually interacting in game and the community part of it has gotten worse. And I've seen this for sure. This is one of the things that I really didn't like about the changes in WoW that they made over the last 5+ years. And if you look at it, the way that it was back when I was playing actively, it was all about community. It was all about a guild. It was all about, because you couldn't do anything by yourself. You couldn't be solo in the game and really get to the end game of it. And so you would find a guild, you get active, you would work with them and try to just work through content. Well, they changed that over the years to make it so that you would no longer need to have a group. You could queue into a raid, and you could queue into all these things. And so and then they made everything easier to where players wouldn't even have to really know the fight. They just would kill stuff. It just made it to where it was very non-social. And I think that that's actually been bad for the overall way that the game works and feels. I think that's something that people that are really into WoW don't like. They've simplified it, but they've made it less of a thing where you actually meet people and have fun. So I don't know if that's something they're going to try to change. Personally, I think that this has been more of a failure in how WoW works. I think that they put a lot of bad things in there. PH says spamming trade chat is how you find groups, not the LFG system. So
that's the looking for group system.
Yes.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Brian, and I will be the first to admit I did not actually read this article. I did see the headline, but I didn't read it. To me, though, you look back at when you were originally playing WoW, it was a much different era of gaming, and I know for a fact actually that people do not get sucked into one specific game now like they did back. Well, I mean, you just look at the quantity of games that were available when WoW was at its peak. How many real multiplayer games existed? Like real multiplayer. Now, obviously, there was I'm sure there were things like online pool this and that Fantasy Star, but how many big online games existed at that point? The answer is probably not that many. In comparison to now, when literally every single game that comes out is multiplayer. That makes a huge difference, and that's why I think the co-founder here is speculating that of course the popularity of MMOs are going to drop out. We've been talking about this on this. We've talked about this on this program for 5.5 years. People people are very unwilling to give their entire life to a video game, and that's what an MMO is. That's by definition what an MMO is. I mean, Brian, you talked about when you were playing WoW actively, and it's not just to me, WoW is the South Park meme, But then when I hear people like you describe it, that's literally what it was like. Hours and 4, 5, 6 hours a day, 7 days a week, sometimes more. People don't do that anymore.
Well, and back then, you only had a couple major game releases a year. I mean, you would have your AAAs would release their games. You didn't have a ton of small games really like you do now. There wasn't the indie scene. And so people would get onto one game. And if they weren't into the Call of Duties or they weren't into something else that released every year, like this was your game that you would play. And I think that just really changed over time as people started having tons of games come out, as the hardcoreness of WoW dwindled. Of course they couldn't maintain that forever. Like people can't commit their lives for that long. And so you had a different player base come in and start playing again. And now it's a much more casual, but I mean, it works. I couldn't play WoW how I used to. I just couldn't. I don't have the time. I appreciated it for what it was. No, and I don't want a game that eats my time up like that again. I don't. I got too much other stuff in my life going on. But at the time, it was fun. And I think that our society has changed and people are much more short focused. Like they're not going to play the same. There are people who do it though. I mean, we've got people in our community that play certain games that they played for years and years and years, and that's just something they do. So there will have people that still do it.
PH brings up like Ark and Rust. And while I don't disagree with you about Ark and Rust, those games have endpoints, right? You've got server wipes. You can get literally wiped. Now, I've never played WoW, but you don't completely lose your character, do you? If you die?
No, you wouldn't lose your character, and you retain all your gear. So, I mean, you could get hacked and everything taken away, but that's about the only way that you would be able to lose everything.
And that's the big difference I see between a game like WoW and Rust and Ark is you play Rust and Ark. Now, if a lot of Rust servers are, 2-week wipes, 14-day, 7-day, whatever the wipe schedule is, that's a set period of time. Ark, public servers, a little bit of a different story, but nevertheless, you get raided by another group and lose everything. You're like, okay, I'm done. That's what happened to us. WoW doesn't, from what I understand, WoW does not have that mechanic. There is no, oh, I died, I'm done playing kind of thing. It seems like to me, you just gradually over time either stop playing or start playing less and less and less and less, and then eventually stop, completely.
Yeah, there's so much content. For instance, my one of my nephew's girlfriends plays WoW, and she's been playing WoW, and I tried to explain to her because she's very casual about it. I mean, how it is now is perfect for her because she doesn't really want to do raids or dungeons, or she doesn't want to really do all these things. She just enjoys the running around and playing. And now I tried to explain to her the expansion is coming out, and she has 5 DLCs to play through before the expansion hits. And I was just like, for you're going to have to spend like a couple of weeks per expansion if you play pretty regularly. But they've made it so easy now to where you skip expansions. Like you can pick and choose which expansion you want to do. Everything is scaled now to where you don't have to do anything in the original order. It's such a different game to where it doesn't feel at all like it used to. And I don't know, there's some things that are probably good about that.
Yeah.
But and some things are definitely not.
Okay, so obviously I didn't play it, but so I can't say this, but I actually disagree with what you're saying. It's not that it doesn't, obviously there are things that they've changed. That's not debatable. I think you have changed, Brian. Everybody that played WoW, I mean, you're talking about 20 years ago? Early 2000? When did WoW come out? Like 2001?
No, 2005. But I was playing it like in 2005.
Okay, so 15 years ago, I think you have probably changed more than WoW has in 15 years.
Yeah.
And what was sexy, and let's look back at 2005. What was sexy in a video game in 2005 is not sexy now.
Yeah.
And that's the issue with all of these games. EverQuest, Guild Wars, even games like RuneScape, and all of these MMOs. I mean, there's not literally hundreds of them, but there's hundreds of them.
Well, I think they're trying to figure out.
Just much, now, here's the thing, Brian. Back in 2005, obviously the internet, the World Wide Web was a thing, right? But was there that, you look at what you could do on the internet now versus what you could do on the internet 2003, 2004, 2005. completely different ballparks. There was no YouTube in YouTube was what, 2006?
Well, even Discord drastically has revamped how gamers, congregate and work together.
Dude,
I think that's something that's really changed too.
Sometimes I just sit in Discord and talk to people. We're not even playing something. We're just talking. Like, you look at what was available 15 years ago on the internet, and in terms of content, right? Because that's what you sink your time into, right? You don't spend your time browsing. Well, you do, but you don't just spend time reading things on the internet. You're watching a YouTube video, you're watching a Twitch stream, you're watching this, you're watching that, you're playing this, you're playing that. All that stuff wasn't as available 15 years ago. Yeah. So that, I think, adds up to it as well. Like, I'll eat my night away watching YouTube videos.
Well, and one thing Green Man points out now, it used to be that WoW is fairly hardcore. Now you can buy a token that gets you to the beginning of the latest expansion. So it immediately takes you to level 120. So when you buy the newest game, they give you a thing that'll make you go to 120. And you don't even have to play all the old content, which I don't know. The casualness of it kind of takes away from some of the enjoyment, but there is still all of that scaled difficulty level to where if you want to play hardcore in the game, that's still there. So I think that it's still there for people that want to go and just go crazy with everything. All the difficulty and all the grind, everything is still there, but they've made a casual level and lots of little short-term games of dailies. And it'll be interesting to see with this new expansion what they do to try to adjust to how people think now, because I think they've been making little adjustments, having like a home area where you can, do dailies and do things in your own little area. They did that to kind of make it a little more gamified, the daily stuff, give people a reason to come in and not feel like they have to go do something crazy. But it'll be interesting to see with this new expansion. I think they'll probably mix things up quite a bit and see if they actually change it.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me ask you this. So is the new WoW expansion for WoW Classic or for current WoW?
For current WoW. So they're going to be doing one, which I think is going to be turning the whole Horde versus Alliance upside down. I haven't dug into it because just from what I've been seeing, there is the Horde and the Alliance seem to be coming together, and then a good and a bad side are coming from that. Like, I think they're going to really mix it up. I think they're going to get rid of a lot of the rivalry of the Horde versus Alliance. And I think that they're going to make a whole new rivalry of where you can have Horde and Alliance on the bad guys and Horde and Alliance on the good guys. So I think you're going to be able to choose your alliance. So
you just described, I don't remember who you said she was, is it your niece or something that's playing WoW?
No, one of my nephew's girlfriend.
Okay. Gotcha. They're playing current WoW, then they're not playing Classic.
Current WoW, yes.
Why is she playing current WoW instead of you said she's new to WoW, right?
Yeah, but she doesn't like the hardcore aspect of it. She likes how it is now.
So let me ask you this then, Brian. You know me. We've been together in some situations. If I was to say, Brian, I'm going to play WoW tomorrow, would you recommend that I play current WoW or WoW Classic?
Current. You would not like WoW Classic at all. So
interesting.
For you, actually, the casualness of it now, you would probably be able to play in spurts, and you may get into it to where you'd play it for a while. The current one, the other one, you would just rage. I mean, the grind is so slow that you would just be out of your mind with what it takes to do certain things.
Green Man gives me 20 minutes. PH gives me a few hours on Classic.
I would give you up to 2 hours before you're just like, I'm done with this. It is hard. Like, it is hard. And they even scale, like, you level up in the beginning faster, but when you hit level 20 and you're still running and you don't have a mount and everything takes forever, like, it's aggravating. Interesting.
So, because I remember, I said that, well, actually, this happened when we were out in Seattle. We talked about, because this was right when
I still have a sub for a while.
Yeah. We talked about it in Seattle about WoW, and I said that I was going to try to play WoW Classic, but maybe I need to try.
Yeah, I would play regular. And what you could do is, if you wanted to skip all the beginning, just use the token and play all the new content, see how you like it. Or you could start from the beginning, but you could play from the beginning for free without a sub. So
really?
they have all those beginning levels. Yeah, you can get through a certain number of the expansions is like free to play. So
I've never played WoW before.
Try it out.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that this week.
It is a very fun game. It is a very fun game to play, and there's so much to it. I mean, there's just so much content.
Oh, and it'd be nice to add to my online dating profiles, Brian. Be like, hey, I play WoW.
I'm a level 65 warlock.
I don't even know what that means. So okay,
fire mage right here. That's let 'em know.
Hey, baby, fire
mage,
level 60 fire mage. Yes. So some interesting things coming out of Activision Blizzard here with the stock, and then the one of the co-founders talking about the waning popularity. I forgot to mention something last week on the show.
Yeah.
And I played Fallout 76. I don't think we talked about this. I said I was going to play it, and I'm not a liar. Well, I mean, I'm a liar about a lot of things, but I wasn't a liar about playing Fallout 76. I played for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and the start was exactly the same as I remember. You spawn in your Fallout shelter. You pick out what your character looks like. You get a little introduction. You pick up your camp, your CAMP, or whatever the acronym is for that thing.
Yeah, it is CAMP.
CAMP. You pick up some crap. You leave. Now, this part to me was new. You walk out, and there are two. I don't know if this is for everybody. There were 2 raiders at the bottom of this hill saying, "Oh, do you know about the? Oh, you look like you're from the vault." And it was the first. There were NPCs, and they were asking you a question about the vault, and you obviously have a choice of like 4 different answers. You do that thing, and then you move on. The first mission is to go to a bar, and talk to some lady. There's an altercation that goes on there. You talk to her. They teach you a little bit about the game. I placed my camp down. I started building, and then I checked out a couple missions. So they have absolutely now again. Maybe I played for 2 hours. They have absolutely added the NPCs back just to the beginning part of the game. I am now at the area where the game originally first started, which was like a church-looking thing, where you talk to a doctor or something like that. That was like the first thing you did when the game first came out. Now there's like 3 or 4 things before that until you can get to that part. So I don't have a full synopsis of it yet, but from the 2 or so hours I played, it was fine. I saw some other people in the world, because it is multiplayer. You can't get away. You can pay to get away from that, but I sure as hell wasn't going to do that. They didn't bother me. They were higher level than me. They didn't attack me or anything.
Is that private server thing that they do?
Yeah, you have to pay for that. It's called like Fallout 1 you have to have, which is like the subscription, which is stupid. But I didn't have any negative interactions with them. So yeah, that was Fallout 76. So anybody that was kind of on the not the fence about it, but anybody that was kind of wondering, hey, maybe what is it like? From the 2 or so hours I played, it felt much more like a Fallout 3 in New Vegas 4, or a Fallout 4 kind of game. So
that's what I kind of figured it might be. That's what I was hoping for, is to kind of get some of the actual Fallout feel back.
Now I'll tell you what, I don't necessarily think I'd recommend it, but I don't think I'd actually recommend it, just because I don't know. Maybe I've changed between Fallout 3 and New Vegas, but it's a much more playable game than it was previously. So there's my little synopsis of Fallout 76. I'm not a liar. I said I played. I did.
I'm still trying to decide. If I want to get it for console just to try it out.
Well, don't you have it on game? Isn't it on Game Pass?
I looked, and that's all the other Fallouts. I thought I had it on there, and I couldn't.
You should replay Fallout 3.
Fallout 76.
That game's awesome. Fallout 3 is such a funny game. I loved Fallout 3. That was a really good time.
I don't know. I played Fallout 3. I played Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas.
Fallout 3 on the Xbox 360 was so much freaking fun. Oh, so much.
I think
fun.
I have it, so I'll install it on my Xbox and try it out.
Yeah, Fallout 3 was cool. Playing it now it's very dated now. You'll play it and you'll be like, "What is this? This looks like a cartoon." But it was a lot of fun.
I got the like newest special edition of Skyrim for my, because I had the basic one, and so I got it from my nephew because we game share. And so he's been playing that, and I was pretty surprised. Like, they built in all the expansions and also all those graphics packs, so that it actually looks good out of the box without having to install all the different mods and everything. And so I'm really tempted to play through that again.
Excellent.
But that's one of those. For me, that's like Fallout. It's just you dive in deep and you play it for a month just through the whole thing. So
excellent. So that's a little bit on Fallout 76. Let's jump over to Deadside, Brian, and I do want to give it's not really a shout out per se, but I do want to give our boy Andrew on YouTube a call out, Brian. Now this is one of the rare times. I can't count on at least one hand how many times we've been wrong on the show before, but we actually showed the wrong image of a map. This is what we showed on last week's program. We were comparing the Deadside map to the DayZ map, I think. This is actually the Scum map. So
yeah,
Andrew,
and now that I look, I found a picture of the Deadside map. It's like, okay, yeah, that's definitely not.
So,
but
thank you.
Yeah, and I just didn't realize it at the time.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't know that. So Andrew let us know there on YouTube, and his comment also was, I enjoy your podcast, but you guys need to give Scum another chance. It's the last best hope for a zombie survival game that we have at the moment. I think we do want to give Scum another chance. I'm not there yet. The last time I played it, my last experience with Scum was I could not join a server, and the solution was to use a VPN.
That was the issue. It was incredibly broken at the time, which really kind of messed with any chance of giving it a positive review because you couldn't even log in. So we'll see.
Yeah. We will give it its chance in fair time. Andrew, what I'll say is you should join us for one of our games. You should tell us a Friday night that you're free for Game of the Week and say, hey, let's play Scum. We will do that. We'll do that for Game of the Week. So I wanted to point that out beforehand, as we do consider ourselves the bastion of truth. In that situation, we were we were not. And now, Brian, I do have to call you out as well.
Oh, yes.
I've heard through the grapevine that you no-showed on Friday night for your Game of the Week. Do you have a...
Well, I take that back. I logged in, but I had my laptop with me, and it was just too slow to play. Like, I was in there, it was just unplayable, even on the lowest setting. So I just couldn't play and actually have it work. I did log in, I was there, but I was like, there's no way I can move around and make it work. So we'll have to do it another day, because I was trying to do it remote because I wasn't at my house at the time. And so I'll do it on a day when, or get somebody to play with me when I'm actually at my house. So, because it didn't work. I mean, I figured I can play WoW notes on there. From Joe, thank you, Joe.
No, not from Joe. No, don't call Joe. I don't. Who's Joe? I don't know who you're talking about. I got a lot of private messages on Discord from people saying, "Wow, bro, I can't believe Brian did this to me." Man, Nick, you're such a better host. Brian, you would have never done this to us. Brian is a scumbag. He would always do this.
I still do want to play with you, Joe. So,
I had to do a lot of consoling.
Did work. I think Joe did say that the server worked. It was running, so it was hard to know if the server was working fine for me because it was so lagged.
Yeah. I had a lot of people threatening to boycott us. People were spawning up websites to take us down. I mean, Brian, I did get ahead of this. You caused me a lot of grief.
Joe did say the game was garbage, so we'll see. And boring. But our private server is up with, I think, 10 to 20x rates.
Oh, cool.
So we still need to see if we want to jump in there on a Saturday or something and just try to get some things done.
Excellent. Well, I had to give you a hard time about that. So so there you go. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're here for. Now, let's look at the new Deadside roadmap, all in Russian, which I must say is perfect. Is rather interesting to look at. But Brian, let me tell you what. A lot of people say, "Wow, developers do this, developers do that." And you know what my response to that is, Brian? Well, if the developers aren't going to do it, I'll do it myself. So let's take a look at some updates here from Deadside. By the way, Easy Anti-Cheat is in the game. So we have got EAC It is fully implemented, and we are ready to rock and roll on this. So here are some of the new things that you can expect over the next couple of weeks here with Deadside. Point number one here is bug fixing and topic number one here is bug fixing and optimization. Currently, they're working on a fix for the potential ability to dupe items and optimizing storage systems in green zones. I believe green zones are the security areas where you can store things. It's like the stash and the safe zone. I think
so,
that's
like a safe area.
Yeah, I think that's what they mean. In addition to that, we're developing a new network mechanism that should allow us to increase number of players on servers and implement game features such as vehicles. So that's super encouraging. I don't necessarily think player count's an issue right now. I think it's 30 or 40 maybe on a server, but I'm not exactly sure what that is. So that's the first point that they're working on. Number two here is new firearms and equipment models. You'll see a new vest in your inventory slot, a few new assault rifles, machine guns, and even a grenade launcher. So this game already had a decent chunk of weapons, but they are adding some new ones there, so you'll expect to see those over the next couple weeks. Now, number three here is some new visual content. Not only we are in the process of improving a diversity of existing villages, which I would say is probably the biggest issue right now, is that there's these areas on the map that look like they're towns, and in reality it's like 3 houses, which is great if you're playing solo, but the issue we ran into with a 5-man group is these quote-unquote towns are not sufficient for a group. So that's something they're working on. They're also planning on adding entire new content with an industrial area, underground bunkers, which would be kind of cool, and also adding new points of interest. The current size of the map will also be slightly expanded. So they'll be adding some of that new area to the map, and hopefully adding some POIs to the existing map, because there is a lot of open area in the game right now. The fourth bullet point on their update here is game events. There'll be plenty of new missions with new rewards, helicopter crash sites, and airdrop cargo containers that drop in random places of the map. This is one thing that I think they've already done very well, is these in-game quest systems, server-wide events that give you a reason to go out, leave your base, bring a gun, PvP, attack, give you something to do in game, which is always an issue at some of these early access games. Number 5 here, base interaction. This is our criticism last week. We're aware of the problems with managing bases when you're in a squad. And we're looking into different options of how to solve this. Now, this, Brian, is a little concerning to me. It might be a code lock. Now, we all remember how the code lock system worked in H1Z1. A complete pain in the ass. Yeah. We had to spin up a form to manage our base codes.
Yeah, they just need to make a grouping system, a guild system, or something, a clan system.
4762, is that our base code? Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
No,
I don't remember.
I don't
it might be.
We might have those forms still. We could probably spin those back, or at least dump the database on that and see what the deal is. So that's something that they're working on. They might decide to use another system, but I would guess right now the code system is going to be the easiest thing for them to implement. So that's good news. Number 6 on here, private server administration. They're looking for your ideas and suggestions regarding that system. They can already say that one of the newest abilities will include the ability for admin to spawn items. So this could be cool for a private server owner to do some streamer events, some private events, and do things like that, as you would expect with games like Minecraft that already have some of those features in there. That's something that they're looking at doing, and this is on their list as a high priority task. And they're hoping to be able to see those features in May. Now, here are some of the long-term objectives that they are working on. They've got 2 points here. Number 1 is vehicles, and they talked about that a little bit earlier with their netcode. The big one here is vehicles. In the current version of the world is not big enough and simply doesn't imply the use of vehicles, but we're planning on adding it in the same time with a significant map expansion, which, I mean, Brian, we ran around the world for a little bit. I kind of agree with that. The world isn't that big. You can easily run across the map. It's not, you don't need a car to scale. It's not DayZ where, you're pressing, plus on your keyboard and walking away for 45 minutes. it is relatively easy to run across the map. So that's their big thing that they're working on coming up in the future.
Which is nice in the beginning when you don't know the map that well and you're kind of getting started. But once you've got a larger group and you really need space on the map, that becomes very restricting.
Exactly. So that's one of their big things that they're working on. The second one here is base raids. We understand that not everyone likes classic systems of raiding. Bases when you can be robbed while not being in game. That's why we're not even considering such a passive gameplay. So from what I'm taking away from this is that there will not even be an offline ratings, or there will not be a 24/7 rating system. So far, we have a few concepts, including the key systems that we discussed in one of our streams. Regardless of the system chosen, we will do our best to make it unique and interesting. So at the end, it wouldn't be a who has more explosives or lockpicks style of gameplay. So that is kind of the update there for Deadside. And what I will say, Brian, is that I think one of the things that we've talked about a lot, and I don't believe has really been put into any of these games, is this nighttime or maybe weekend raiding system where starting Friday night at 5 o'clock Eastern or something like that till Sunday night at midnight or 9 p.m. Eastern, raiding is allowed. You've got essentially 3 days to raid. You spend your Monday through Friday either not playing, or your Monday through Thursday not playing, building things up, and you turn the weekend into, the event to be. Now, obviously, this is complicated for time zones for the rest of the world, but I like what they said here is that we understand that not everyone likes the classic systems of raiding, and they're not even considering that. So I think that's good. And that could be a huge differentiator that Deadside has over, as we've always talked about, H1Z1, a game where pretty much the base rating was how many people can you have logging in the middle of the night to harvest corn and replant it before the hackers get it, so that you can create gasoline, so you can shoot arrows at gas containers, which essentially is what you ended up doing. The rating system sucked in H1Z1. It was awful. So I like. And
then when the fire effects started happening, it would just lag everybody out because the systems couldn't handle all of the different fire effects that were going at once from all those different gas containers. It was just a mess.
Yeah. So I'm encouraged with that. Great update here. We've got easy anti-cheat. They're working on some bug fixes. We'll have current players coming up a little bit later on in the program, and we'll be able to talk about that. I do want to give a shout out to our boy Bobby J for hitting us up with the 12-month resubscription here on Twitch. Bobby, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your support. So again, that is Deadside, available on Steam, $19.95 or $99, one of those prices. I would say this is probably the most promising early access game that's out right now. Now, obviously, Dead Matter is going to be coming out. I'm saying, what can you play right now that's the most promising? Yeah. To me, it seems like Deadside. Now, there's a whole bunch of issues. We talked about it last week. I'm not going to lament over it again. But this game's got some serious potential, in my estimation.
Well, and that's, I think that it is very much like if people are into Arma, this is a game that's like a heavily modded Arma server. As far as the airdrops and things that they're adding, a lot of these features are kind of the things that the community added to Arma and would run on a lot of their private servers. And it is a very fun game mechanic. I really enjoyed playing Arma with Donnie and just running around and having all those events. And so I think that it's taking a lot of those and then modernizing it, since Arma doesn't seem to be wanting to do that. And Daisy standalone didn't do it. And I think they're trying to make something that's kind of a little bit Arma, but also a little bit of your standard survival game.
Agreed. So yeah, go check them out. Give them some support if it's something that looks like it's up your alley. But they've hit the ground running, and they're rocking and rolling.
Very good. So I don't know if you want to show this now, but there was a video put out by New World, which is of course Amazon and Smedley.
Okay.
And this is just talking about some of the new war and I guess kind of like the PvP system. It's war and invasion system that they're implementing into the game. So
now, what is New World? Remind us one more time.
So New World is the upcoming pretty much MMO from Amazon.
Okay.
So this is with their new game studio that they did. This is a PvP, also has PvE elements to it, but a big MMO that seems to be pretty interesting. I mean, just seeing the videos and the things that they're putting in there, it should be a kind of a mix of some of the old MMO, but it seems like they're adding a lot of new type of features that I've not seen really. I think, and there's some of this also, people are making an example. Some of the system is like Guild Wars. So it's like they've taken some of the best, what they view as the best things from various MMOs, and then also added in some new things. Activision
says MMOs are dead, and Amazon and Smedley are jumping in headfirst into the shallow end of a pool. So we will see what the outcome is. Let's watch this quick video, show some new things about New World.
The tournament is divided into territories. Some of those territories can be controlled by companies of players.
When two territories clash, a war can begin. One territory can challenge another to war at their fort.
So if one company is in control of a territory, if you have enough standing, you can go with your company and try to do basically a hostile takeover.
Every company in control of a territory sets what's called a siege window.
Once that's scheduled, you have this 1 hour intense PvP battle.
This is a 50 versus 50 player battle between the two companies for control of the territory.
It's really the pinnacle moment of PvP in the game.
Once a war starts, the attacking side is set to task to use siege weapons to take down the fortress gates.
The defenders then get to be inside their fort and have access to siege defense weapons, such as the mighty horn that can buff their allies.
It becomes this big epic battle where there's 50 players charging at the gates.
So as the attacker, you win the war by first taking down all the gates so that you can get inside of their base. And once you're inside, you siege the flag. And if you can stay near that flag for a set amount of time, you take the fort.
The war's timed, so you'll have about an hour to get in there, take over that flag in the middle.
And ultimately, one winner is going to be declared when the battle is over.
It's a new level of social dynamism that no other game has.
In addition to player versus player wars, territory owners will also have to worry about invasions. This is where waves of enemies from all across the tournament come to lay siege to your fortress.
As the corrupted breaches sort of escalate intensity, over time those eventually lead to a large-scale invasion.
The corrupted, with their armies ever eager to take over the whole island, come marching up to forts and challenge the players.
Invasions are different from war. Invasions are large-scale PvE events where hundreds of corrupted try to ruin all of your progress in up-leveling your territory.
All the enemies that really scare you out in the world, you now see in an invasion. And they come after you, they come after the gates, and eventually they come for the flag.
There's great loot to be had, there's money to be made, there's reputation that you'll gain.
They happen pretty frequently. You'll need to prepare, and it's just waves and waves of corrupted that you'll need to battle back.
It's when the game really sings.
So coming out August 25th. You can check them out, newworld.com. All right, Brian, you're the MMO guy. Are you any more? I mean, we just had a conversation about how people aren't interested in MMOs. Mm-hmm. Does this tickle your fancy at all, or is this just yeah, maybe I'll check it out, but this isn't something I'm going to, devote. I'm not going to marry New World.
Yeah, I mean, so here's some of the concern. And this dovetails perfectly from our last conversation about MMOs, is a lot of time sink. Are they going to be able to get people to commit that amount of time to, first of all, claim all that territory, build all that, and commit the time to get to where you have 50 on each team ready to do this battle all at once? I think that if they can get people hooked, that's what WoW did very well. WoW was really good at hooking you at early levels and then maintaining that through the whole process of all the levels, whatever the cap level was, and then coming up with a interesting enough end game to where then players are like, oh, well, this is where the game really starts, right? Games generally have a very difficult time of making a player feel like the whole beginning time is rewarding and like that's the game, and then giving a whole new experience, and they're like, oh no, this is the game when they get to there. Whether or not they can do this in this, especially like the PvE battles, they're going to have to make it to where the rewards are good enough to where people are going to commit that amount of time and be there and do that. If it's just something that happens all the time and you're like, people never show up, they have to make it to where that is something that the group looks forward to, because it gives them a big boost in resources or whatever it is. They're going to have to make it hook you like that. And I don't know, it's going to be all about how well they pull it off, how well they do the actual system, because it's very interesting on paper, but will people play it? And someone in here in chat said, the devs Nisco said the devs are talking like people will play the game like this. People never play the game as intended. And if people, they're going to need to be willing to, on the fly, put away their ego. If people don't like something they put forward, because we've seen this, we've seen devs say, we know better than you. You're going to play the game how we want. I mean, Miscreated, perfect example.
Ding, ding.
And then you see games where, oh, well, here's what you want out of the game. All right, we'll feed that. That's Rust. There's a very big difference in the player numbers between those two games. I think if these studios, or if Amazon Studio can turn around and say, all right, people really enjoy this system. They may love the PvE system, but the PvP may not work as well. Be willing to scrap one and continue and like keep reworking it until you find what people want, because you can't force a game system down people's throats and make them actually play it. They'll just go play something else. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to pull it off. They've got the money to do it. Hopefully they make something that's just so epically amazing that you're like, oh, this is something I got to play.
To me, it kind of seems like it's got a lot of those mechanics that Rend had, with these weird, like, the way that Rend worked is there were like 3 or 4 different factions, and based on certain things that you did in game, you leveled up your faction, and the goal was to have your faction obviously win the server, and then there was a reset. It seems like it has a lot of those style of mechanics. Now, Rend was a complete failure. Obviously much smaller studio, to be fair, but nevertheless, I can't imagine releasing an MMO in 2020 is going to be that lucrative of a thing, especially again when we're talking about all these other games, so many games to play.
But if they can, I mean, the thing is, you've got a lot of players that are still seeking that. I mean, look at how many people still play WoW. How many people are playing Guild Wars? These are all very, very old games. There hasn't been any recent MMOs that I can think of, recent in that they've been released for the first time recently. WoW keeps putting out expansions. All these games keep putting out expansions. But what can you think of a really successful modern MMO that's actually taking off?
No, Brian, and I don't think there will ever be a successful modern MMO. People aren't looking for MMOs. I don't think. People are looking to play the game that they know, right? That's the thing with MMOs. I don't think there's a group of people that, I could be wrong. I don't think there's a group of people that are trying everything to get into to a new MMO. I think people that play EverQuest, play EverQuest. The people that play Guild Wars, play Guild Wars. The people that play WoW, play WoW. I don't think you'll see a mass exodus from those older MMOs to something like this. And honestly, some evidence of that is. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Well, I was just going to say, look at Destiny though. Destiny is like a borderline MMO. It's like an MMO light.
But here's the big thing with Destiny though, Brian. Consoles, and that is the big thing that WoW doesn't do. I don't think Guild Wars or EverQuest do. Is consoles. Destiny is incredibly popular on the Xbox and PlayStation. Mm-hmm. It is incredibly popular. Now it's got a good PC audience. Don't get me wrong. 10 times the amount of people play it on console, and there's your big difference.
But do you think that this is going to have casual elements to where it tracks those people and then also has things to kind of feed the hardcores that really get into it?
I don't know.
Because if you can make it casual enough to where you keep a big player base, you're going to have a percentage of that player base that goes just hardcore on it and does all those type of things.
I just don't know where the group of people that are jonesing for a new MMO are.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't exist. But I think they're already entrenched in the games that they're playing.
Yeah.
Because that's what an MMO is. You don't just jump ship on MMOs and be like, oh, I'm going to go play this one now.
Yeah.
Like you've invested sometimes years.
Well, there's such a ramp up time. Yeah, there's such a ramp up time to MMOs to get to a point where you're like, okay, like I figured out the game. I've got my stuff. Like, let's go.
It's
that takes a long time.
No, this game is not going to be on Steam, right? This is going to be Amazon's own thing.
No, I think this is going to be through like an Amazon launcher. All their tests up to this point have been through a little Amazon launcher.
Yeah, that blows because we won't get accurate numbers, which
of
really
how many
sucks.
you're playing.
Yeah, I'd be very interested. I mean, we've seen some of these other style MMOs come out recently. Rend is the big one. What's the one that just shut down? Chronicles of Illyria. Now, that game had other issues, but MMO, massive multiplayer online.
Well, look at all the funding they got, though. There's people,
and they still
there is a player base that are looking for that.
Yeah.
Oh, PH says that it will be on Steam, so there is a pre-purchase page on Steam.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though: it's
just not exclusive to Steam, though.
Well, that's an issue. That's
so the numbers are going to be. You'll see Steam numbers, then you'll see various launchers numbers as well.
Yeah. Well, interesting. $40. You can pre-order it now. It will be out late August 25th. And I know you have it or you've got access to it. So when that comes out,
so I'll have the paid for version once they.
Yeah.
It's just so their Amazon launcher is more of just an app that's dedicated to this game. You just launch it and it runs updates and does everything through Amazon because they don't need infrastructure. They don't need to update servers like most games studios need. That Amazon has they probably host half the things that are out there. So I just they run their own for the one that I have. But whether or not they're going to narrow that down, I know that mine doesn't have anything to do with Steam at the moment.
Gadlaw says I don't pre-order because Nick doesn't like pre-order. Correct. Yeah, and it's now here's the thing, especially with this is a first time release. Right, Amazon Game Studios has not published a game before. Now, to their credit, it is already playable, right? So you have access to it, or you've had access to it. So the idea that they would release something that is completely different than all of the pre-tests is not super likely. But Gadlaw, totally. In a general sense, I don't think pre-ordering a video game is a good idea at all.
Not
especially
anymore. Well, it used to be you knew that a game would be good. We've had some duds from major studios.
Well, but there's a big difference between a dud and something that's borderline criminal, right? Like there's a difference between just a game sucking and a game not being, literally not being what they said it was going to be. Those are two different things.
But, like PH points out now, like they'll offer you skins and everything else, and nowadays that just becomes less and less enticing because they're going to offer you 100 other skins. Like it's no longer like that's a special thing.
Yeah, So I don't want to get into the whole pre-order thing, but I agree. I mean, I can't think of the last time I pre-ordered. The last game I pre-ordered, I think, was Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah,
I don't think I've pre-ordered anything since. I didn't pre-order Call of Duty. I technically pre-ordered Call of Duty, so I could pre-download it if that counts as a pre-order, but I'd already played it because they did a beta weekend before. So I guess technically. But
yes, PH called it. Nick is still mad about No Man's Sky.
I didn't pre-order No Man's Sky. I didn't.
Did you order it day one?
Yeah.
Or did you order it like right when it came out?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't pre-order it, but I bought it the day it came out, and that was one of the.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I don't have many regrets in my life, Brian. That's got to be on the top of the list.
It's right up there.
I mean, yeah, it's right up there. Yeah, there you go. That is New World. Let's change gears.
Do you want me to announce the game giveaway here really quick? So
yeah, absolutely. What do we got?
All right, so we'll do exclamation point giveaway in chat. 60 points. So that's pretty much an hour worth of watching on there. I'm going to be giving away a game that I've talked about quite a bit, actually. Hand of Fate.
Oh,
and this is another one from Firebomb. So thank you very much, Firebomb, for this is one of the games that he donated. But this is it's a roguelike deck building RPG game. Very unique. I've not really any other games that I've seen like it. But you play through a game with a deck of cards. Pretty much, deck of card determines the different fights and everything, items that you get in game. It's very fun to play. I mean, you can play through. It's kind of casual, but they have a lot of different difficulty levels, so you can make it as hard as you'd like.
Excellent. And if you are not here joining us live, well, you should be. We are live every Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern time on Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube. You can find all the links to those different platforms on our website. It is infectionpodcast.com. Let's talk about, let's swing back over to survival a little bit here, but with an MMO element. There's a game that, have we talked about Population Zero on the show before? I think we've mentioned it a time or two.
Well, okay, so if I remember correctly, at PAX, we interviewed and played a little bit, I think.
No.
Not this year, past year, but the year before, if I remember correctly. So I think we talked.
No, you're thinking of Horizon.
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of the THQ Nordic game.
Yes, what was that? That's the one I'm thinking of. So yeah, that's not this one. No, then I haven't looked. I know I haven't done anything with this one.
Okay, so this is a new game that is out now. It just released. It's been in early access for a while, and they call it, based on their Steam, they are calling it essentially a survival MMO. I think they've got a little trailer. So we'll watch the trailer for it, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about the blog post on it and look at some reviews right after this.
И тишину, и силу слов, и притяжение легко расслышать, но сложнее принять. Могу остановить движение.
Well, I mean, I guess you call that a trailer. Population Zero, that is apparently out as of today. So what they say here is Population Zero is a unique game that caters to players who appreciate robust PvP or PvE action and the chance to explore an alien world. Action combat is the centerpiece, whether taking on local inhabitants or fellow players. Other features include expansive tech trees, a robust building system, wink wink, a unique perk system, and an advanced multidisciplinary crafting system, to name a few. So it looks like it's got some of the MMO elements, and it's also got some survival elements there. The base building, the crafting system, the skill system, things like that. So we just watched that trailer, and I went to the Steam page here, Brian. And before we do that, I do want to thank our friend Gadlaw, who hit us up with a $20 donation, saying, "I caught a red snapper. It looks pretty dapper. Now, hopefully this thing doesn't try to sign me up for its service." Thank you, Gadlaw. Appreciate your support. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. So it's on sale right now. It's normally $30. It's 17% off for $25. It's $25. Have you looked at the Steam page yet? Don't.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So don't look anymore. Okay.
Have you seen Have you seen the reviews?
I read one of them. I read part of one of them.
So as of right now, the game has got a 72% negative rate. They've got, 72% negative rate. 28% of the reviews are positive. Now, to be fair, there's only 250 reviews. So that number, it's a pretty small pool. But just reading through the reviews here, I'm just going to take this one as an example. Maybe the guy's full of crap. I don't know. This guy says he played about 30 hours of it in closed testing. And he said the game doesn't really fit into the survival or MMO genre. It's a weird mixture of genres where it tries to be a survival game and it also tries to be an MMO and an RPG, but it kind of fails at all of them. So, for example, Scum is a decent survival game. Well, maybe at this point we should call this review negative.
Well, it is. I mean, it is a survival game.
As you can do a lot of small things in game to increase your survivability. You have to manually build your base. You can do X things to manage your nutrition. Blah 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 blah. This game's survival aspect ends at you need to constantly consume food and water, and those being at max affects your HP rate. So he goes into the RPG. To what it seems like to me, Brian, is they tried to combine the elements of too many games, and I mean, we've seen this 1,000 times, not just in video games, but just in general. You try to be too many different things, you suck at all of them, you fail. I mean, you see companies that do this, you see products that do this, services. You try to be too broad, and in result, because you are trying to hit MMO, RPG, and survival, you do all of them kind of crappy. Those three things don't really work together. They're not. Survival and MMO and RPG are not. They don't mend. They don't mesh. They're and an MMO and a survival game are completely different. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier. In a game like Rust or Ark, you can literally get wiped out and lose everything. In an MMO, that doesn't happen. How do you mesh those two things together? And according to that one review, the survivability is eating and drinking.
Yep.
And
that's the issue, is when they're like, oh, I'm going to make a survival game, and it comes down to just eating food. I mean, that's, as we know, that's not all there is to a survival game. That could be one of the major aspects of it. If, like, for instance, The Long Dark, that's a very big part of the game. But there's another, that's just to make it so you survive the cold. Like, it's a piece of the bigger puzzle.
See,
they can't just snap and put a thing of, oh, you have to find food and eat it to make it a survival game.
To me, what it seems like the issue here is that they said they were a survival. They said they were an MMO. They said they were an RPG, and they're not. If they would have just said, hey, we're an MMO, or hey, we're this, or hey, we're that, maybe the reviews would be a little bit different. It seems like we're running into something similar with No Man's Sky, not maybe to the exact same level, but where the expectation was you were playing a survival MMORPG, and in reality, you're playing kind of a crappy version of all of those. So it looks like this might be a shining example of not necessarily over-promising, but using words like MMO, RPG, and survival as buzzwords to entice an audience, but you don't really fit those. You don't really fit the criteria of what those mean. I mean, that trailer was a minute and 22 seconds, and all we saw was a guy walking through different backgrounds.
So it did show you a few different biomes, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can say they showed some biomes. Another thing they showed at the very end is that you have a limited lifespan.
Yep.
Based on your watch. I mean, you have, 168 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
To be able to accomplish but they didn't really show you what you're trying to accomplish. Right. I mean, the trailer didn't show you at all like what your goal is. All he's doing is moving around, seeing all these different locations, and then dies. So I do like the fact that they're showing all these different biomes, but you really don't get any idea of what the goal in the game is other than to survive.
Now, I'll tell you what, if this is in-game footage, it's very pretty. It looks great. But literally the trailer here for the audio listeners is just a guy walking. Like there's not like there's nothing else. Like they show a PvP, he swings a sword and then it cuts to black and switches to another scene. I mean, this is a terrible trailer.
Yeah.
This is awful. I mean, here's the thing. I guess I'm glad they didn't make, because like an ARC trailer where they show like all this crazy shit that's never gonna happen. But in the same vein, this is so uninspiring. Based on what I just watched, I have zero idea what you do in the game. Like
other than walk around.
And even the walking around, they don't even show you really walking around. The background behind the character is changing. It's not like he's running through the map and exploring. It's just the biomes are changing behind him. That's an odd trailer. I can't say I'm shocked.
Maybe this is the first walking simulator. Maybe this is the first walking simulator. We've heard about it plenty of times. Now you have a walking simulator. You have 168 hours worth of walking. And if you can do that, you win. So I don't know. But obviously people aren't taking to it very well because the reviews are so horrible. Usually you don't get 70-something% negative ratings.
Yeah, here's a video on Steam of the battling system, they're calling it. I mean, it looks.
Now we did show. Actually, I do remember now. We did show a video of some of this a couple weeks ago, and I remember that people were very frustrated that in there you couldn't get rid of the blue underneath. Like you have to always wear that blue outfit.
Huh.
So all those different looks and things that people generally try to go for in a survival game, you can't do because you always have this blue underneath of your clothes that seems to show. Like that was one of the things. That's why I remember this, because that blue is always there. Like you can't change an outfit and the blue goes away because they're putting on all these different pieces of equipment, but that blue just stays underneath it.
This looks terrible. What is this PvP system? I mean, it's just like, dude, it looks like Super Smash Bros. You're like jumping around and flipping in the air. What the hell? This looks terrible. Good Lord.
No. Well, they've now, and this is their, today they released onto Steam.
But I guess it's been
available other areas, but yeah, they've put their early access on Steam now to where you could jump in and buy it there and start playing.
Yeah. Very interesting, to say the least.
We'll see. I don't know. Yep. We'll see if it continues to have it's hard. If it's that bad, this is going to be hard for them to put out patches to fix it in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, I tried going to their website. It's down, so I don't really know exactly what that's all about.
Who knows?
But Population Zero, it is on Steam. It is $25 now. Normal price $30. Buyer beware. It's got, again, a 72% negative rate on Steam. Again, only 300 reviews, so small subset of people reviewing, but I can't imagine that it's going to go from 72% negative to 40 overnight. I would imagine that this is going to be a pretty crazy uphill battle for them to climb. So there goes Population Zero.
Yep, and we'll see if they make it back.
Yes, sir.
All right. let's talk a little bit about Battlefield. DICE put out an announcement saying that they're going to be shifting focus to next year's Battlefield. So they're really not doing any more expansions or additional content to the current Battlefield, but Battlefield 5 that's out there right now. And so if you're into Battlefield, they're going to be pushing all their resources to pretty much players and content in 2021. You're really just going to see minimal amounts of patches and things in this year's Battlefield. So just a little bit of a heads up.
Speaking of Battlefield, Call of Duty, I read an article today that they are still planning on a fall 2020 launch for a new game, which to me sounds like a terrible idea because Call of Duty, whatever version, Modern Warfare, is crazy popular right now. And it seems like all they're going to end up doing is fractioning their community. So I really hope they tap the brakes on that because I am freaking loving Call of Duty right now. I played until almost 1 o'clock in the morning last night. I mean,
do you think that this is going to be,
I love it.
Do you think it's going to be one that's kind of pushing towards the next gen console that's going to be released towards the end of the year?
Yeah, but here's the other thing too. I'm starting to read some interesting reports about those and how the consoles are going to be out, but limited quantities. And obviously, if there's a new console coming out, there needs to be a new Call of Duty. I get that, but God, I would hate to be fragmented in such an active community right now. I mean, this game is higher. This is the highest Call of Duty's been since probably Modern Warfare 2. Maybe one of the early Black Ops, but you're talking about an entire generation of consoles.
Though? Do you think that's going to maintain that over 6 months?
I don't see why it wouldn't. The game's been out for 8 months.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, typically people don't play Call of Duty past the first of the year. Sometimes they don't even make it to middle December. They don't even make it to Christmas sometimes. But I mean, I've been actively playing this game for 8 months. Is this going to be a standard
Call of Duty game? Is this going to be kind of a standard Call of Duty, or do you know anything about it?
No, so here's the thing. It's going to be Treyarch developing it. So that will be that will be that. Now, Big Woody Sauce is mentioning that the Warzone will be continuous, and they did announce that, but I'll tell you what, man, Warzone's fine. I'm loving the multiplayer.
Yeah, they're calling it COD 2020.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the code name for it. I can't imagine that will be the actual name. I mean, it may be. Who knows?
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. The one coming out this year. It's just weird. Yeah, that is strange.
Yeah, and they do want to make Warzone continuous, which makes sense. So as the other games come out, you'll be able to play it back and forth. But the Warzone is the little thing. The Warzone is one element of the game. The multiplayer on this game is awesome. It's really good. I really like it. And I'm a huge stickler for Call of Duty multiplayer. So,
do you think
interesting to see what these two?
They did the World War II, and that was semi-successful. Ross is saying this one's going to be Vietnam.
Bringing us back and they could have COD 4. No, COD 3.
But the thing is, if you look at the Vietnam, that's a very different map style. I mean,
yes, it is.
It is going to be very different. So that may be what they're looking at, as this is providing a very different experience that they don't think is going to compete as much with their current COD, which is modern.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you move on, right? Like, people don't still play. There's a Call of Duty every 12 months. When the new one comes out, you play the new one. I have never seen a situation where a majority of people are playing the older Call of Duty. They will play the new one, and then they just stop playing if the new one sucks. That's typically how the lifespan goes, because it's a game you play with your friends.
Big Woody Sauce is pointing out, like, do you think that maybe they'll have Warzone, but in the style of Vietnam? Like, they'll add maps, and you'll have a themed version that adds to that kind of ongoing continuous Warzone?
Because they're saying it's going to be continuous. So they're going to have to do something like that.
So I'm saying, again, maybe they'll just do nothing but add additional content to Warzone.
Maybe to Big Woody Sauce's Black Ops 1 was nom. Thank you. Maybe it's because I'm not the biggest Warzone fan. Not that I'm not the biggest fan. Like, I won one this past weekend. It was great. I like it, but the multiplayer is my bread and butter.
Yeah.
And I'd hate to have a really strong active multiplayer like they've got right now.
It kind of empties because all the people jump to the newest.
Exactly. And I'm not saying the new one's going to suck. The new one might be better than this one. Who knows? But I'll tell you what, I have not played a Call of Duty this deep into its life cycle in, I can't tell you when.
Do you think maybe they feel like they figured out what made this one successful and they can add it to the next one? Because this one's much better than the previous couple have been.
No, I don't. Because I don't think I know what made this one better. It just feels better. Everything, it's just better. I don't know why. I don't have an answer for you. The guns feel good. The gameplay feels good. The matchmaking is good. The system, the season system where your level constantly goes down to 80 and you have to level back up is cool. I have very few complaints about this game, which is not something I'm used to dealing with.
Well, it seems like there's always that struggle when they go back to ones that are in history where they really limit the weapons. I don't think people like playing with a very limited weapon set. And that's one thing I think they like about the new Modern Warfare one was it had anything you think of with a weapon, it would have it. Like any of the modern features, sights, everything else. World War II was kind of frustrating because you were so limited for weapon types and upgrades. And I think this one will probably fairly similar.
Yeah,
it'd probably be more like World War II.
Yeah, except the Vietnam War was in the late 60s.
60s.
So the gun, I mean, obviously your gun type's in the 60s.
Yeah, I mean, you have some automatic weapons, but you don't have all these high end sights and all this crazy stuff.
But what you do have is the cool stuff like the like the napalm and stuff like that is synonymous with World War II. Or excuse me, synonymous with Vietnam.
You could do they could do something that it would be just so cool with Vietnam. I mean, they could make it to where it could be awesome, but whether or not they make it gritty and really take it that far, and rather than just let's switch out assets and make the equivalent of what the World War II one was, I hope they push it to the next level and make it to where it really feels immersive. Yeah.
So interesting to see, these guys, DICE and EA with Battlefield and Activision, Treyarch and Infinity Ward with Call of Duty. It's going to be very interesting to see what goes on with them. New consoles might be coming out. Supply might be limited. The weird time that we're all living in. So that is going to be something that we'll keep an eye on and bring you updates as we get those. So cool stuff from them. Let's talk about 7 days. We've been showing these for the past couple of weeks now. Some more screenshots. It does appear that we are coming ever closer to 7 days Alpha 19. Here's some new screenshots, Brian. This might be one of the coolest scenes that I've seen. This looks look at how cool. Do you remember what the axe used to look like? Yeah. And it was just like a crappy JPEG. that was there. This looks great. You can see
it looked like the icon.
Yeah, it did exactly. That's exactly what it looked like. It was just a blown up version of the icon. So that looks really great. The trees look great. The grass and ground still kind of look like garbage, but the trees at least look a little bit better. So that's good. Here's another one.
I think with the lighting, one thing that could really benefit them is if they could really work on their ambient lighting and everything. Because if you look, both of those images, it's too washed out. Like the light is just a little too bright, and it's the shadow. There's no shadows, which is a big performance other than like on that rock right there. There's some things that they could do that would impact performance, but would make this even look way better if they turned on shadows on the grass and things like that.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat. So that you see this one here again, same thing. The lighting is a whole lot different than it was before. Trees look good. Zombies look pretty good. And then here you can see inside. Now here, Brian, we got some candle light reflection on a table, which is something that I'm almost positive was not in the game before.
No,
what does that entail?
Well, first of all, being that they have a real 3D modeler and they are probably doing their images and the thing that makes the texture of that table, they're probably setting those up correctly to where you can have things like this now. Because before everything was just base textures. They're pretty much pictures laid on top of an asset. which at the very base level, that's what an asset is. But then you start adding extra details for things that give it a texture, right? You can see a little bit of a wood texture grain to that wood. And then you can see the reflectiveness, like there's an additional thing added on top of that. It looks like they finally got someone in there who understands that's actually making the assets properly to where they do things like this. They reflect light and look much better.
Yes. So that's pretty neat. This would be the perfect time to release Alpha 19. Everybody's home. People don't have anything to do. Release it. Release it. Just release the damn thing.
I mean, how close are they to final 1.0? I mean,
I don't even know about that. But
I mean, they've got to be close to their feature set. Like they've got to be. I don't know that we're going to go past 20.
Firebomb says he's got shit to do. Let's go. I agree.
Yeah.
This is the people that are going to play this already own the game. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, people lost their jobs. They don't have any money. Everybody already owns this game. Or anybody that, I mean, realistically, people already own this. So this is a zero cost update. And apparently it's a huge update. Like, let's make it happen. Obviously, if it's not stable, don't release it. But I mean, the fact that they're releasing screenshots like this, we had like a dozen pictures last week. This thing has got to be ready to go.
And especially they've added in tons of those new assets and just things look much better. I think people are going to really enjoy going through and seeing all the new things on this one.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And it looks like it's so close. I mean, I can't imagine they have too much more to do.
You can almost taste it, Brian.
Yes. And we'll have to set up a night where we go through and play a day or two of this.
Whenever it comes out, we'll do it for a weekend as we're infamous here at Infection Podcast for doing our game of the week.
Yes.
They come for the game of the week. They stay for the podcast. That's what I've been doing.
Yes, that's what it is.
Let's talk about PUBG here. We've got some stuff with them. The big one here, before we get into some of their updates, is Stadia. Now, I have heard jack squat about PUBG, or I've heard jack squat about Stadia. I heard a couple weeks ago. I don't even know if we talked about it on the show. They changed their tiering price system or something like that. It was irrelevant, so I didn't even bother talking about it. But they do have their official PUBG Stadia launch trailer, so we'll show that, and then we'll talk a little bit about that and some of the things that entails right after this. All right, so now free. Now here's the key thing here, Brian. Free with Stadia Pro, which is kind of that's the interesting thing about Stadia is anybody can play Stadia for free. It's free. But no free games are available on free Stadia. You have to buy, like Destiny, for example, you have to buy. PUBG, you'll have to buy. If you have Stadia Pro, games like
Destiny would have levels certain because Destiny is free up to a certain content.
Not on Stadia. It's not.
Oh, they're not giving away the base free levels.
No, it's not. I don't believe so.
That's weird.
From what I understand, no. I believe.
Okay.
I believe there was
and I don't
nothing
know if that
free
will
on
change
Stadia.
because that's how all the other platforms are. You pretty much play up to a certain level for free.
Yeah, I don't think it's the way. I don't think it's like that on Stadia. I could be misinformed, but I'm almost positive you have to buy it like for $40 on the free version of Stadia. That's like part of the deal, which makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. So they've got that available to the. It's free for the Stadia Pro people, and I guess it's going to be the same game that you play on PC or Xbox, just also available on Stadia.
That for me kind of takes away the selling point of Stadia. The whole point for me of what Stadia would be special for is if they made it to where you had that many more like weather effects and that many more like whatever things they find is the most resource intensive that pretty much kill people, lag them out. If you tried to do on a networked regular system, they could do that here. And because it's all local, all the effects are all talking to servers that are local, and you could do it. You could do special things that other consoles and other platforms could not do. And I don't see anything hinting that they've done that in this. It's just the base game. Like, I don't know why you would launch it without doing something special. Like, there's some effect that you can see across the whole map or something.
Now, one thing that we talked about this originally with Stadia was the one cool thing about Stadia is that hackers are going to be, it's going to be not impossible, but you're not going to be able to inject code. Like you're streaming the game. So
yeah,
that's
one upside.
Minus that, I can't think of a reason, and that might not even be a reason itself. I can't think of an actual reason you'd play this on Stadia. It is literally available on every platform. Like you can play this thing on a freaking toaster oven, for Christ's sakes. Like, why would you play this on Stadia?
The things like turning up the distance, like the render distance, like they could do that in this. They could have it to where you see things twice as far out as you would see on a console version. Something like that would make it look way different when you're playing it. And you'd be like, huh, that's interesting. Like that looks different than the one that I play on my Xbox or on my PC. But it's even the graphics, like the selling point of a PC is that the graphics are usually better than on a console. Like this should be upped to where you're like, oh, well, this is even better than a PC. Like I just don't see that.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the only thing here, not the only thing. One of the big things here as well is that you can play the full version of PUBG on your phone with Stadia, right? Because you're streaming the game. Now, you might already be able to do that on, with the Steam thingy-mabobber, the Steam at home thing where you can stream things to your phones and whatnot. So you might already be able to do that. I don't know.
You're not. Oh, you're talking
not
about
the Steam Link, but Steam Play, whatever.
But the technology that
so
feeds it.
That seems like it may be one of the other selling points. But again, do you really want to play PUBG on your phone? I mean, this is a game where like finesse is the key, and you're unlike Fortnite, hitting every single shot really, really matters. Are you really going to play this on your phone with a controller? Because my answer is no, of course not. I mean, I can't even play it on the PC. Like, why would you play this on your phone?
Well, and even one odd thing is like I don't see them advertising like ray tracing or anything that your average consumer doesn't have right now. Like that would be the thing to offer. Say, hey, look at this ray tracing on any device. Or RTX, whatever they want to call it, whatever they think people would recognize. I just don't see. There's just nothing here that would be like, oh, here's the reason I would play this on Stadia. I just don't see it.
Agreed. So that's a little bit on PUBG on Stadia. I mean, it is what it is. They've got a new beta program as well, Brian, called the Creator Appreciation Program. It enables PUBG partners to earn money from in-game purchases made by fans. So players can use a creator's unique tag, epic, in their PUBG account page, and the creators will receive a portion of that money that players spend in game. The purchase of the base PUBG game does not qualify, so it's only for skins. You go to accounts.pubg.com, you input the creator tag, and that's it. So this is literally the Epic creator system, the thing that they've got, and so they've got that. They've got a list of all the creator tags here. I don't see Infection Podcast on here. They must have just left us off the list. But yeah, we'll have to check on the status of that. But yeah, they've got all the creator tags in here for I guess the people that play the game. There's not that many of them. There's like maybe 60 of them, 70 of them. Not a whole lot.
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, new service there from PUBG.
Very good. And also they're adding a new weapon to this. So one thing that was different about this is, they went through and made a whole page talking about the history of the weapon and just a lot of details for one weapon. But they did also a video showing off the new weapon.
All right, let's take a look at it. The Mosin Nagant coming to PUBG. Can't wait to play that on my phone, Brian. Mosin Nagant skill from my 4-inch phone screen with a controller. What could go wrong?
I still hate that they're using the assets from the marketplace for their weapons or for the ammo boxes. That just drives me crazy. All this money and they can't make their own graphic.
Hater. So, Mosin Nagant, great. Mosin Nagant's been in like 1,000 games. So it's a new sniper rifle. It's a Russian.
Pretty much a one-shot knock.
Yep. It's a Russian gun, and yeah, Green Man as Matt says, the Mosin, it's Tarkov all over again. Yeah, except it sucks. Well, Tarkov does in some ways too, but yeah, new gun. It's coming out in. Is it out now? Or it doesn't say. Maybe it's coming out at the start of season 7. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, I think it just didn't it debut in the season 7.
It may have. It all is all the same. So there you go. New weapon for PUBG. Can't wait to snipe some people on my phone when I'm laying in bed on my controller playing on Stadia.
There you go. Perfect.
It's perfect. I can't think of anything that could go wrong.
All right. So Hide or Die put out, well, first of all, they went to 1.0. So that's something that Hide or Die has been, you haven't really heard too much about them, but then all of a sudden they released, they left early access and have gone to 1.0. Okay. So this is something that I didn't see coming, but maybe for them, they said, after months sitting with our community and complete reworks of entire parts of the game, it has left early access as of, I think, the 1st.
May 1st.
And yep, it says, as with any multiplayer game, content is king. Hide or Die may be fully launching, but this is just the start of season 1. Went into great depth about all this on their launch page. And in there, if you go read, they describe why they're making certain changes. I mean, they just have pages and pages of changes that they made. Different, cosmetic unlocked, progression. There's a lot of things that they are hoping will drive people through the game. So if you're interested in this, they are now at 1.0, and they've done 2 patches on that content since. And so it should be very different. If you haven't played it for at least a week, there should be quite a few different changes in the game now. So you should go check it out.
Now, for the style of this game, Brian, this is very much a Dead by Daylight or a Friday the 13th style game. This is a hunter versus survivor versus killer kind of setup with that. So that's the kind of gameplay you can expect with different mechanics and things like that. Firebomb, who's our his recommendation of a game like this may or may not be something you want to take to heart. Sorry, Firebomb. He says it's an all-new game. The recent reviews, Brian, in the last 30 days, almost 70% of them are positive. Overall, the reviews are still mixed. Only 56% are positive. But again, over the past 30 days, almost 70 are positive. So it appears that the new things that they've added to the game are causing people to either review for the first time or go back and re-review and to give that a thumbs up instead of a thumbs down. So I would imagine that mix will turn into a positive here over the next couple of weeks. It's a interesting price though. $15 for the next couple days. It's 25% off. So maybe not a bad price if you're into these kind of games. I mean, $14 isn't a whole lot. And then its normal base price is only $20. So not an exorbitant cost of a game. Seems pretty legit.
Well,
I
think for them, I think it's going to be coming down to like Dead by Daylight coming out with consistent content. I mean, that's one thing that really drives that game is they're putting out new killers. They're consistently putting out some pretty cool content on a regular basis. And I think if they do that here, of course, continue improving the game, make it work better, but also putting out additional content, that's going to be, I think, what would keep a game like this alive. Otherwise, people will go play Dead by Daylight and not play this. So they got to come up with something that makes them unique.
Agreed. Hide or Die. Check it out on Steam if you need a link to that. The link is on our website, which is infectionpodcast.com. I want to talk about a game that I love dearly, Brian, Halo. And Microsoft just out of the blue announced that the Halo 2 Anniversary Edition is coming to PC as part of the Master Chief Collection. This came out a couple months ago, and it came out with Halo... Oh, I don't remember which Halo it came with. Sorry, Musty. But Halo 2 Anniversary is now going to be part of the Xbox. Is going to be part of the Master Chief Collection, available on PC starting on May 12th. So that will be out here next week, a week from now. So that's exciting news for Halo fans like myself. We will now have Halo 2 Anniversary in there, which means Halo 2 multiplayer. Super hyped. I love Halo. Halo is such a cool game. You probably never really played any of these Halos.
No, I never really. That's what I was going to say. Is I've never really played very much of the Halo. I went to a friend's house and played a little bit of Halo here and there, but I never got into it. Just because I just never had the console at the time to really play it.
Now let me tell you, the Halo multiplayer is awesome. Really is. Love the multiplayer, but the campaign in Halo is phenomenal. It really is. It's a long-standing campaign. It's got very strong characters, banging soundtracks in all the games. Halo is a great franchise.
I think I have access to them all on my
Game
Pass. So I did install them, but I just haven't played them yet. So I just need to sit down and actually give them a try.
Yeah, the story is awesome. So there you go.
I'll
Halo
start
2
playing
for all
through
you.
you.
Now, by the way, again, this is already in the Xbox version of this. This is for the PC version of the Master Chief Collection, which is available on Steam, by the way. This will be part of that. So I'm glad I bought the whole collection. It was like $60, I think, and they're slowly releasing games over time. Instead of charging like $20 per title, which you can also do. You can buy it either or.
Very good. Well, I'll check it out. I'll try to play it this week sometime for a little bit and then give you a report.
Yeah, fantastic story.
Cool. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Arc and just a couple of the patches. I found some interesting things in these patches that they, you know how sometimes they'll focus on certain aspects. It seems like they're kind of focusing on one detail. This one seems to be about server crashes. And I don't know if it's because they're having a lot of server crashes and they're like, well, we got to figure this out or what. But 3.10.5, this was released on the 29th, additional server crash and performance monitoring heuristics. So they're looking for ways to be able to find and identify the server crashes. Well, then in 3.10.5.3, they released on the 30th, and it's fixed some server stalls and crashes. And then they enabled additional logging to identify server crashes and stalls. So then we have 3.10.6.2. They fixed multiple meshing exploits, which that's been a focus they've been doing for like a month or two now. They fixed an exploit which would cause players to become invisible, which I haven't heard about yet. Fixed multiple server stalls, which related to those couple things. Fixed multiple level issues, including holes, floating foliage, areas where you become stuck, and missing volumes. Mind Wipe Tonic now warns players they're before being consumed. They've created a cheat command to grant unlimited wait for admins. The Lava Lizard can now be spayed or neutered. They fixed some missing icons related to holiday emotes. They fixed a bug which could have caused characters to fail to download, and they disabled the temporary additional server crash logging. So I think they turned on additional logging, found some things that probably were crashing out various servers randomly, and then they turned that back off. They do have those, I think, those heuristics still in there to where they're still probably looking for these, but I think they probably had a bunch of crashing and various issues that they then were like, we got to figure this out. Either they're getting complaints or it was causing issues on their official servers.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Yeah, I can't imagine they would have put this much elbow behind random private servers crashing. Yeah. Not that they don't care about private servers, but until like their developers are like, hey man,
when it's
our servers are restarting.
Headaches.
Yeah, every 4 hours our servers are crashing. That's a huge issue.
Yeah, and when that happens on official servers, people become really sensitive. They're going to the forums, they're raging. Something happened. So I think that this will hopefully make it a much smoother experience, and hopefully it makes it better on our servers as well.
Yes, which by the way we still have. Where can people get? How can people get access to those or find out where those servers are located?
Well, pretty much, if you just go into the Arc server browser, go to the unofficial servers, and then search for Infection, and you should see, I think there's 7, if I remember correctly, 7 servers up there right now for that.
Okay, cool.
And I keep them updated. I try to keep, the hardest thing is keeping the mods updated, because mods don't always tell you they update, and they don't always tell you that, it's one that needs to be rebooted. So I try to watch for that. If you ever are playing on our server and you get the notice, Joe does this quite a bit, but if you get a notice that a mod needs to be updated, just send a message, and I can do it from my phone. I can do it from wherever I'm at, and I usually try to do that.
Cool. And Joe's saying that he's about to do the Island Ascension in the next week. So if you're interested in trying that out, hit up Joe on our Discord and see if you can tag along.
Very good. Totally.
Sorry, Joe, not to allow people to ruin your parade, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna just pile everybody on. So
yeah, everybody just join Joe and mooch off of Joe. Just take all of his stuff and call it a day.
Joe, make sure you have enough full everything for about 20 people, if you could. So Scum has put out an update. Now they actually did a patch update video. So
okay, cool.
It'd probably be easiest if we did that, and then we could discuss it after.
All right, let's take a look. We'll watch that video, and we'll be back.
Hello and welcome to our new video update. We prepared some amazing things for you this week, all the way from cars to our beloved Sentries. Also check out our patch notes for the latest private server shoutout. See you on the island.
Sounds like ferment almost.
Hi there. Free rides are about to end. We implemented fuel and battery system for vehicles, which introduce a lot of new game mechanics. State of your fuel and battery is visible on the vehicle part of the main HUD. And by the way, this is a placeholder vehicle HUD. Nicer one will come in the near future. Let's get deeper into battery mechanics. As in real car, battery can be drained and charged. There are 2 primary ways how the battery is drained in the game. The first one is by starting your engine. The second one is by using all those devices in your car, such as horn, lights and radio. More devices you use, more battery will be drained. And what about battery charging? Currently, there are 2 ways. One is through keeping the engine running. Higher the engine RPM, faster the battery will charge. The other way is by using spare car battery or other small batteries. Just keep spare battery close, right-click on your car and click Charge Battery. You can see the state of your battery and fuel on the car's icon in the vicinity window. There is one last thing regarding battery drain. It's so-called inactivity. If you don't use your car, battery will be slowly drained, and after about 7 days, you will end up with battery completely gone. So, what to do when your car does not have enough battery to start engine and you don't have a spare battery at hand? you have two different options. If you are on a terrain with at least some steepness, consider yourself lucky. You can use gravity to start your engine.
Wow, that's
Just
a legit
press
mechanic.
the throttle key and let the gravity do the rest.
What's that called, a pop start or something?
On the other hand, if you are on a completely flat terrain, we have a solution for that too. You'll just need one of your pals to help you out with starting your engine. Keep the throttle key pressed and let your pal do the heavy lifting.
What the hell?
And now, let's get on to fuel mechanics. Fuel is spent as your engine is running. Higher the revs and engine load, higher is fuel consumption. Fuel consumption also depends on a specific vehicle. For example, SUV has a bit lesser fuel consumption compared to a pickup truck. And here's a hint. If you are low on fuel, consider letting off your throttle a little bit earlier and use your car's momentum to keep you moving.
Interesting.
So how do you refill your car with the fuel? There are 3 ways. Number 1. Use gas station. Gas stations are spread out over the island and they are replenished with fuel regularly by the Tech 1. Please, just be aware of the gas station ambushes, since gasoline is a precious resource after all. Number 2 are gasoline canisters, which you can also refill at the gas station. The island canisters come with a 20-liter capacity, giving you a way to build up a gasoline reserves when you are too lazy to go outside. And number 3, steal the gasoline from someone else's car. Just go near the poor fellow's car, have the canister close, and click Drain Fuel. You'll have your own juice in no time.
That's called the Detroit mechanic.
And that would be all. We hope you'll enjoy these new vehicle features. Everything is subject to change, and we are happy to hear your feedback.
The time has come to freshen up the Sentry gameplay experience. For quite some time, the Sentry was a thorn in the side for many players, including the ones working on this game. There were a lot of complaints and problems, so we decided to address them. This patch will mark the first part of the Sentry rework, so stay tuned for more updates after this one. First major change comes in the form of delayed initial player detection. Sentry will no longer instantly detect a player, but rather accumulate the so-called spotting percentage, indicated by the change in color of the headlights. This percentage fills up faster the closer the player is to the Sentry, and once the percentage fills up, the player will be spotted. Different light colors indicate different major Sentry states. White indicating a relaxed patrolling state, orange indicating alerted state, and red indicating a combat state. Second major change allows players to potentially retreat from a guarded zone unharmed. After the initial detection, Sentry will give players a chance to comply to its instructions and leave. Combat was also slightly adjusted. Sentry will now aggressively pursue the player with few variations in attacks. Combat will be further improved in the upcoming patches and adjusted based on the community feedback. I won't spoil all changes. You will have to discover the rest by yourselves. The only advice I will give is, don't try to block Sentry's path by using your precious vehicles. Have fun and expect part 2 of the Sentry rework.
So we reworked the camouflage indicator. It won't show how visible you are in general anymore. Now it shows the time frame you have when AI notices you to hide before it starts attacking. When AI notices you, the bar will start to fill. The filling speed depends on things like the weather, time of the day, your camouflage skill, the distance between you and the AI, and so on. Once it fills to 100%, it means you're targeted by someone. The bar will drop back to 0% when you hide out of sight. Foliage now serves as 100% cover unless AI comes close enough to see you.
And this would be all for this week's video. Check out the patch notes for more features and changes, and see us soon with a new patch and a new video. Come on, let's go, let's go. Come on. Damn it. I give up.
So there's There's Scum. Wow, Brian, I'll tell you that. I'm not, as I just shat all over Scum earlier. I mean, maybe we do need to give this a try soon. I just pulled up its Steam page, and 75% of the reviews in the last 30 days are positive. So that classifies under a mostly positive review. That car mechanic is super neat. I don't know why I find that interesting, but the idea that you can do like a rolling start, like a stick shift, like a rolling pop start, I think is what it's something like that is what it's called. I still think the mech system is retarded. I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know. I'm not an expert in the game, but I don't think it makes any sense.
I mean, it's pretty much just AI. I mean, they have higher ranked gear that you're going to try to get there, and they're trying to make it difficult. Now, I think what's really I see a lot of promise in Scum. Now, I get frustrated playing it at times just because you need a lot of. If there were more people playing it and you had more interaction, it would be I think a much better experience. Where I see promise is if they ever get to the point where they then open up modding, kind of like what Arma does, and they really embraced modding in this game. It is such a good platform of a game. Like the characters, the world, like everything is really well done. I think they've really focused on details very much. I think if they opened it up for modding and then let people add content to the game for them, it would just make it that much stronger. And I'm hoping that they get the game to a certain point and then they open up modding, because I think this is the perfect place. I've been asking, I don't know how long I've been asking for this from a game. I mean, I said I thought PUBG should do it originally. I just think we need something that will replace Arma on Unreal Engine. Arc kind of does it, but their base game is just way too big to then add other things onto it anymore. Now, they do have a lot of modding, and that really pushes their game forward, but not the type of modding to where it's a total replacement like Arma does, to where you can make something that's equivalent to DayZ, that's equivalent to, you name the thing that sparked off, even battle royales and all these different things that sparked off of that, because they made the ability to mod it so much to where it felt like a new game. You can't, Arc doesn't seem to do that. Like, you can never make Arc feel different enough. It still feels like Arc. Any of the mods you do, it still feels like Arc. I think they need to make one to where you have the tools, like an Arma tool, to be able to go in, make your own maps easily, and just, you could use the Unreal Engine to do it, but give the people the tools to do it. And I think that would make it much more successful, because they create such a good platform of a game where maybe the mechanics and the gameplay isn't as much fun, but the game is still a good platform of a game that people could add on game modes to. And I think it would just make it stand out. Yeah.
I like, I feel like they've been doing these videos every couple of weeks. I like that. They're very in depth, which I think is good.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of the whole point of this program, is to be able to get into some of these deeper things that you don't see on a tweet or whatnot. So I like that they go in depth and explain the systems and whatnot. I mean, maybe we're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this.
Well, I think
this
it's
game
there.
is the
Like,
best
I've seen,
game
I
now.
enjoyed when I played it. I enjoyed it. Like,
but you didn't play it again.
Because there was nobody to play with. That's the problem. Like, there's just not people to play with. Like, if I went in there and like we were playing and having, running around as a group like we've done on other games, it would be fun. Like the base game, but doing it alone in this game is just not fun.
So yeah, there's only 2,600 people playing, and I say only. For a game game's been out for like 2 years. That's not a great number.
Yeah, it's just they got to get it to where and that's where I think if you opened it up to private server hosting, allowed people to mod it like crazy, you'll start building up those numbers. People will see that other people are playing it. Even if they're playing on unofficial private servers that are modded, people will still view that as success, and then they will be like, oh, well, that's a game that people play, I'll play it. But right now, when you have to play the base game, it's difficult to get people into it.
Agreed. Totally. We need to give Scum another shot here over the next couple months for sure. So if you're a Scum expert, or you're an active Scum player, send me a message on Discord, please, and maybe I can.
We'll get it arranged.
Yeah, I want to get a date arranged with somebody that knows what they're doing and can walk us through what we need to be doing right when we first get in there. So
and hopefully we won't hit it on a day when there's like the one groundbreaking bug that wouldn't let you log in. Like I've never heard of that since.
Yeah, no, of course not. That's the story of my life, Brian. Don't you understand? You've known me for long enough, Brian.
I've known you long enough. Yes.
Yeah, I mean
this is your thing.
It's just who cares at this point. Let's talk about Subnautica Below Zero real quick. They've got an update here and a quick trailer for it. This is their Frostbite update.
Approaching 45-46 feet. Surface Welcome to 45-46 feet. Enjoy your stay. Hypothermia imminent. Dangerous weather approaching.
Little insane, a little bit of an insane trailer there. So this is this new planet is 4546b. It's a continuation of the story here. It introduces weather mechanics to do with the cold. So hypothermia has been added to the game. I would assume that if you're, I would assume that a fire system or something is going to need to be a prominent part of whatever you're doing in here. Swimming underwater in the ice cold is probably not going to be something you're going to be able to do forever. They've added some new things as well, some new biomes, some new creatures. The ice worm is in there now. And yeah, this is just a continuation of their story.
It's a very solid game, too. I mean, if you're into survival games, which you're listening to this, you probably are.
Hope so.
Definitely a game worth checking out. And perhaps if you got the Epic launcher early on, this was one of the first games, if I remember correctly, they gave away. So a lot of people may own it without realizing it.
Wasn't that regular Subnautica?
I think they're both, because I think I have Below Zero as well.
I gotcha.
So I'll double check, but yeah, I think, I don't remember if they gave that to me as a review copy or one of them was.
Of course,
I don't remember if both of them are.
It's hard
for me to know which copy came from where.
It's so funny.
You didn't ask,
ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a little backstory here on an Infection podcast. I have never gotten a review copy of a game without getting at least 2 or 3 keys. Because I want to give one to Brian, I want to give one away. Brian has got a track record of getting free copies of games and shafting me with this. What do you have to say for yourself?
Maybe, perhaps they, I don't know. Perhaps they realize
Perhaps I don't know.
Perhaps they'll realize I'll play the game. Maybe I don't know.
Whoa! I just got a game. I played it.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll turn around for you. They'll see that.
It won't turn around. That's bullshit. You're gonna continue to sit here and get free games, and you're gonna use the Infection podcast name to push your own agenda, Brian.
Yeah, to get more games.
So that is Subnautica Below Zero. It's $20 on Steam, $20 on the Epic Games Store as well. So yes, very solid survival game. Check it out. Looks like ROE had a quick update here. Nothing crazy on this. They've got a new character, Brian, as they are continuing their I call it America
Less
Man.
Anime, more, yeah.
America Man Soldier. This looks like this is a just another new character here who appears to be a couple different skins of this new character. Appears to be a Western based character instead of like as you said, an anime girl. They've got, this is the third, I
with
think,
a cat,
fourth.
with like a live cat waving at people in the backpack.
They went from that to this new character, Freedom Rider. I mean, hello.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, they say, okay, make a American looking person and make him sound American. Freedom Rider. Okay, we got it.
Yeah, it sounds like a crappy '80s action movie with Tom Cruise or something. Freedom Rider. So that's in here now. This is the third or fourth character they've added of this caliber into the game. So if you are an ROE person, you can go check this out. And this update was out as of April 30th. So small, as they're saying here, type small update, adding a new character.
Yep. And then also we have Dead by Daylight, who came out with 2 different patches this week. One regular patch with some decent content in it, and then a hot fix for that. Okay. One thing they've done is here's some of the main changes they did. When all remaining survivors in a trial hit the struggle phase on the hook, the entity will instantly drain their remaining life bar. The repair speed efficiency debuff for each survivor working on a generator has been increased to 15% from 10%. Great skill checks while repairing now give 1% bonus progression down from 2%. So
you get
turn that down.
Screwed by hitting greats? That sucks.
Yes. Great skill checks while repairing now give to 300 blood points, up from 150. So you get 300 for doing that now.
Double the XP.
Yep. Memento Mori interaction adjustment. Mori animation only begins playing at the end of the interaction charge. The Legion Feral Frenzy adjustment restored the Legion's ability to see scratch marks and pools of blood at the beginning of the fatigue when their frenzy expires. The emblem system adjusted the benevolent emblem progression thresholds. They added additional player feedback when survivors attempt to escape a hook by themselves. They improved the controller sensitivity. They added score events for interrupting survivors that are sabotaging a hook, cleansing a totem, or digging around the jigsaw box for a key. They updated the party management visuals, like the silhouette. The archives they added new content to the archives, Tome 3. They added a detail screen to provide a full list of content available in the current Rift, so the free plus premium tracks. On the offering screen, the description of the offering now appear at the same time as the offering is revealed. And then they just did balances and bug fixes after that.
Cool. So it's a pretty big patch. Some
and then they did their 3.7.1, which was just a bunch of bug fixes from that patch.
Okay, cool. I haven't played 7 Days to Die. I did play League of Legends this past week though. I installed that, played it for a couple games, and realized I shouldn't have been playing this anyway. So I played 3 or 4 games.
Now it's time to try some Dead by Daylight and see how you're doing.
Yeah,
and then work your way back to.
I haven't played Dead by Daylight yet because I don't have my macros set up to do that. My Dead by Daylight macros when I switch computers, so I gotta set those back up. I know that's a huge, a huge lift here, but. Yeah,
I mean, you got Tarkov, you got Dead by Daylight.
Now,
you got League.
Tarkov is
These are all ones you need to work back in.
Yeah, but Tarkov is wiping in a couple weeks or a couple months, 2 months, something like that. When they wipe, I will start playing again. Okay. I'm not going to play right now. It's right at the end of the wipe. I don't really have a whole lot anyway, so I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna view the surroundings. Yeah, I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna chill a little bit, and then I'll get back into Tarkov. So,
all right, we'll see it happen. I think that's it.
Yeah, that is it. That's great. We actually did it, Brian. We did. We
started a little bit late for people. I mean, of course, people out in audio world don't know this, but
yeah, Brian said, I was doing DJing over here for a while. So we got that.
If you have something to do within the next 6 hours, don't run the update to Unreal Engine. Just
tip of the week. So you're doing tip of the week early. That's fine. Pretty sure Nick is a woman. Okay, thanks, PH. On that note, let's move over to current players. I'm not sure what that's in context to, but let's start off with Ark, Survival Evolved, currently playing 55,451. The 24-hour peak, 87,412, with a 7-day peak of 101,708. Looking on over at Rust, currently playing this, 42,793. 64,277 is your 24-hour peak, with your 7-day peak of 83,105. So that is Rust. Looking over at 7 Days to Die, currently playing 17,708. The 24-hour peak, 20,404. 26,525 is your 7-day peak. Let's take a look at Deadside. Currently playing almost 3,100. the 24-hour peak 4,407 with a 7-day peak of 6,117. And finally, Atlas. Oof, 2,032 people currently playing Atlas. The 24-hour peak 2,564 over the past week. 7 days. The max player count was 3,114. Abysmal.
Yeah.
Abysmal for a game of this caliber. That is Atlas. So
I mean, it should have been an ARC mod or DLC or something.
Yeah. Well,
the thing is, you could get away with it. They could have gotten away with it with the whole concept of ARC, and you're being placed in environments. Like, you could have placed, if you made it to where you're placed in a certain time, like they could have expanded ARC and DLCs to be able to be across multiple times, and the future, the past, different type of biomes. But then they tried to sell this, and it just, how do you fix this? I don't know how they will.
You don't. I think it's the moral of the story. You don't. I mean, you don't. This game's been out for what? This game's going on 2.5 years of being out. December of 2018. Yeah, 2.5 years. I mean, it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for tip of the week?
Tip of the week.
Yeah, it's where I go through and either give a general gaming tip or one for a specific game. And I figured with all these changes with PUBG, might as well do that for tip of the week.
Oh, this ought to be good.
All right, so in PUBG, I haven't played it for a while, and so I look and they keep adding all these. They've added 5 maps total now, so they've got 5 different maps that you can play across, and that's a kind of a little bit overwhelming when you're going in there. Where on the original Wrangle map, we remember where everything is. You generally know, what zones you want to aim for, what's the hot spots, and now you have a chance of playing on 5 different possible maps. So 4 new maps that I haven't really put a lot of time into. So I've added some links, and I'll have these in the show notes, of guides for each of the maps. And what they do is they break down the different zones of the map and kind of give you an idea of how difficult, first of all, how much of a risk there is in landing in that area. And also maybe what possible things you might run into as far as difficulties, or what kind of gear might be there. And so this is just very interesting for people that may be wanting to try PUBG out again. You can just kind of skim through and look at the different zones, and it just breaks them down to, all right, here's this zone, here's the risk level, here's what you might encounter when you get there. And so you can do that for all 5 of these different maps. So there's a Wrangle, Karakin, Miramar, Sandhawk, and Vikendi. And so for each of these, I would encourage you, take a look at them, look them over, and figure out, and you can even keep them open if you're going to be playing, jump to them and kind of get an idea of where you might want to land with each of these. But I figured this would probably be helpful because I'm really tempted to try it out and see how different it is now, because it's been so long since we played it. But man, I just look at the maps and it's like, okay, where do I go? And hopefully this will help. So that is tip of the week.
Maybe that could be your homework assignment, Brian.
Yeah, play through all 5 maps.
No, not play through all 5. Give PUBG a try.
Yeah, I want to, because you see all these things, they've changed a lot. I just want to see, has the movement system improved since the last time I played? It just, does it feel better? That's what I want to know.
Probably not.
Just well, we'll see. I'll let you know. How about that?
Yeah, sure. Please do. Love that.
All right, are we ready to do a game giveaway here?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's go ahead and draw this. Congratulations, Unicorn Joe.
Hey-o.
Long-time fan of the show, and a person we actually mention every once in a while on the live show. So congratulations. I will send you this key, and you can thank Firebomb for it, your best friend. I will send you this key inside of Discord.
Yes, thank you, Firebomb, for that. And yeah, we haven't really promoted that in quite some time. If you've got extra games, if you have like duplicate copies, or you buy a Humble Bundle and you've already got a copy of the game, and it's just sitting in your Humble Bundle account, and you'd like to have somebody use it, let Brian know. Send him a message on Discord or email, and let him know. Give him some codes and say, hey, these are for giveaways. And we've been doing this. We started this early on. I don't remember when, but it's been a while. We used to do 2. Now we
I did 2. We did one mid and then end. And then I was like, let's just do 1.
Yeah. So I would love. I mean, nobody's going to do this because I would love to know how many games we've given away. Hundreds.
Yeah, I have no idea. Oh yeah, hundreds for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Friday night game of the week is probably going to be probably just going to be a show up, see if people are around kind of thing. I can't think of anything.
Maybe play some Deadside. We had a pretty good turnout for Deadside. We'll see whatever people are interested in playing.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on Friday night. And just pop into Discord 6, 7, 8 o'clock and see what's going on. So I think that's it for the show. You got anything else, Brian, before we jump out of here this evening?
Nope. If you want to find me, you can find me on @BoiseComputer on Twitter. Also my blog, biteoftech.com. If you're interested in hanging out, maybe participating as people play games on the weekends or submitting different news topics, if you think that we've missed the mark on something, you can jump in there, give some feedback on our Discord server. And if you're on the website on the right-hand side, join our server on Discord. Really easy to use applications for that. Also our Steam group, if you want to get notifications before the live show starts, you can join the Steam group, and if you happen to be at your computer, you'll see a little pop-up, and you can join us live. We now have 4 different ways that you can view the show. If you want to watch us on Twitch, on YouTube, on Mixer, and on BitChute, you can do that through the website. And also, we have our audio-only forums, so whatever app or platform you want to listen to us on, we get a lot of different options for that in the lower right-hand side of the website. If you're interested in seeing any of the videos or articles or anything we referenced during this show, you can go check out our show notes. This will be for episode 277, and we have those for all 277 episodes of the show up to this point. We have show notes for each and every one of those, so you can go check them out on the website. Also, if you want to support us, for instance, I ordered some things on Amazon today, so I just typed in before I went there, amazon.infectionpodcast.com, and then that will automatically give a small percentage of your purchase to us. If you're going to make any Humble Bundle purchases, you can go to humble.infectionpodcast.com. And as you've heard throughout the show, and really appreciate it, various people giving us their Twitch Prime subs, which you'd be surprised over the year adds up. And also, I just want to thank you. We also from Gadlaw received a donation today. Thank you very much for that support.
Yes, and by the way, Gadlaw's donation makes sense now. He tweeted us a picture that he's watching. He's playing Animal Crossing, and in Animal Crossing, his character said, "I caught a red snapper. It looks pretty dapper." So he took a screenshot of that, sent it to us on Twitter, and that would explain his donation. So thank you, Gadlaw, for that. Brian, not just Twitch Prime. We've got a bunch of people that support us with Tier 1 and Tier 2 subs as well. So I want to thank our friend Bobby J hitting us up with 12-month resubscription here on Twitch. Our friend Gadamus hitting us up with a 14-month resub. Actually, this one, I didn't read this comment. Beard Brian taught me how to love a woman and how to scold a child. Okay. Big Woody Sauce hitting us up with the 19-month resub, criticizing my beard. I don't appreciate that, Ross. Izzy Trippin hitting us up with the resub, and then our friend Judd hitting us up with the subscription as well. So, yeah, that's I don't know how we've gotten this far. I mean, it is kind of.
I don't know how we've done 277.
I mean, this isn't like. I mean, this is like the definition of mental illness. This whole thing is just way off the rabbit end. Brian, thank you so much, my man. I appreciate it as always. We'll see you Friday night for something, hopefully, and then we'll be back next Tuesday for another episode of Infection, I guess is what we call this thing. Folks, you can if you're maybe you're an IT professional, maybe you want to become an IT professional. Well, I am. I've been in IT 7 months. You can check out my blog, dudeinit.com, where you can check out some things. Our most recent article. I've gotten a lot of praise on this article about an open source remote desktop alternative. So you can check that out, dudeinit.com. If you're looking for my personal stuff, you can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. If you missed any portion of the show, you can check out images, show notes, videos, all that fun stuff. It's on our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great week. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.